The slow comes down. Oh, and he drops. What did he drop to?
The cold feet damage.
Oh. Yeah. And Jug's gonna Omni Slash the Witch Doctor, and the Witch Doctor goes down, so Perfectionvore gets a favorable
Queen of
trade
Pain
in
is
this
there
top
though.
lane.
If she goes ham, she could kill this Jug. Nope. I don't know if she checked the mana, but if she had just blinked and cast her ulti, that would have killed the Jug for sure. But yeah, she wasn't sure of what was behind him, and she didn't know if he had mana or not, so she avoided that jump. But going balls deep would have paid off in that scenario. Alex Baby in a little bit of trouble in the mid lane, but he pops off that Invis rune and walks away from it happy and healthy as he gets that bounty rune down on bottom.
Yeah. Battle's going to rotate towards the jungle and take over a Centaur, which probably is going to go use the stack for himself. Wind Ranger, almost level 6, picks up a bottle, so hopefully this will give her a little bit more ability to spam out the power shot and get some more last hits in lane. She's only currently at 6 last hits with no denies versus the Gyro's 75 last hits and 34 denies.
Yeah, this Gyro is absolutely dominating this free lane that he's had down on bottom, and this is huge contrast to what we saw in the game number 1, where he was just having such a hard time farming, such a hard time finding space, and instead this game we see him having all the space in the world, and despite a Juggernaut rotation here, I think he sees it with this ward off in the trees, and he's just going to walk himself back away, keeping himself nice and safe and making sure that those last hits are still rolling in. Ooh, up on top.
Got a cat's coming in.
Great coconut bounce there. Alex Baby running into the jungle there. A couple more spells. Oh man, is he going to bring down late game? No. Almost got
good use of coconut and that death ward. Presumably doing work with his G-Gen aura, slowing down that Leshrac. Wasn't a whole lot, it was 10%, but was able to get a few more hits off with that Witch Doctor ult, which was the damage they need to take the Lesh down before he brought them down with his ult.
Yeah, for sure. Now they're going in on mid, Lokarn. He's got his ultimate up, and he might be able to pop this off in just a second. He's not even going to bother. Instead, just runs up and claps off Duke, and there we go. The ultimate gets used, brings down the Spirit Breaker, and he's going to charge forward. He gets the Whirlwind up onto the Wind Ranger, trying to chase her down now. They do have the stun. The boulder flies out, and that might be the end of her as the Queen of Pain blinks forward, gets off the Scream of Pain, and that's going to be a 2 down with that Brew Split, and now they're going to be able to get this tier 1 tower.
Yeah, or at least pressure it. Presume he's pretty low on mana right here, and he doesn't have Soul Ring or Mana Boots quite yet, so Lesh's Lightning Fist is going to do damage. Jug's ult comes, but he bounces, unfortunately, to the Omni Knight, so the Brewmaster walks out with 50 HP there.
Yeah,
close
that was
calls.
so close. And I mean, he got 1 auto attack after that as well, and it just dropped Brew to within a sliver of death. It was so close, but Brew walks away from that, and late game are happy with what they've done on the mid lane there as their Gyro continues to free farm.
Yeah, and he's got 1 stack going for him. I'm not entirely sure where his Kentaur... Oh, here's his Kentaur. Has run off too, but Gyro's still farming away. He's doing a great job farming up, and he's definitely going to be able to transition into the mid game here and put on a lot of pressure. Bruce splits down right now. Oh,
wait, what was this? Quap died in a 1v1 to the Ancient Apparition? Oh man. I think she just went for an aggressive blink, and AA just cold-feeded her and threw the Ice Blast, and it was just enough to burst her down in 1 shot. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, Quap has had a rough kind of lane with the mid. Lesh just dominating that lane with the lightning, so I don't blame her if she's tilted at all, but that actually gives AA his Midas, so he's going to be getting a quick level 11 here, level 16, which will offer a lot more damage.
That's huge. I mean, getting a Midas anytime in the first 15 minutes of the game is insane on an Ancient Apparition, and it guarantees you your Aghanims for later. I mean, it's so much reliable gold that you're going to be able to get that Ags pretty much no matter what by 25-ish minutes. So this, this AA is going to have a wonderful game, and it's going to mean a lot of trouble for We Got Late Game, as they are kind of relying on their 2 big heals to keep them sustained in these early game fights.
Wind Ranger teleports bottom to help out Spirit Breakers. Lesh comes in, pops his ult, but Omni pops his ult in response, and so Brew just comes meandering in and pops his ultimate and goes on Leshrac, stunning him up. Gyro also pops his ult, doing good damage here. Spirit Breaker is the first to fall. Omni getting low, and Quack comes in the back line, landing a 2-hero Scream of Pain, dropping the Lesh and the Wind Ranger. So right now it's 4 down for Perfectionvore, with late game not suffering a hero yet. And they take down the tier 1 tower and continue to push on strong. Only Jug staying alive in that engagement.
I mean, that was just a fantastic engagement, and especially with Hora coming to the fight as well. I mean, he was free farming up top. He could have ignored that fight if he wanted, but instead he knew that there was going to be a 5-man fight there. So he came down, dropped the call down, and because of him, they were able to bring down that Spirit Breaker and bring down that Leshrac quick enough to make that fight happen in their favor. So beautifully played there by late game, and they walk away with 4-for-0 and a free tower.
Yeah, excellent play by Dory as well, as she blinked into those backline and got after that screen plane. Alt's going to come in mid and kind of say, hey, remember, I've got an ultimate, and be scary of it, but late game's just going to weather the storm, as he doesn't have his egg chest and doesn't have to fear it with Omni heals and Voodoo Restoration of Brew's going to aggressive blink forward onto the Leshrac, who misses his stun. Spirit Breaker charges in, hitting the Brewmaster, but Lesh is able to get away. Spirit Breaker calls out his ultimate onto, presumably, on the Omni Knight, but he's able to get away. Gyro throws down the ult as they disengage from the fight. Everyone on Perfectionvore is quite low apart from the Wind Ranger, but these two teams back out without any kills happening.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised there were no kills. I figured once that call down landed, the Gyro was just going to run in ham, but he didn't. He let it go and just kind of used it to slow and back away. So, I mean, I think that was just good shot calling on the side of late game. They said, you know what, we're going to lose too many if we stay here. Let's play it safe, and they back away. And now this Gyro is going to go farm up his fat stack. I think this is quad stack here. That he's going to farm up with that flat cannon. So, yeah, good on him. And the supports are going to pick up a good handful of experience as well.
I definitely think that was the right call on the side of late game to not take that fight. They had stacks to fall back on. Jug had his ultimate up. AA's ultimate has a low cooldown, so he possibly could have gotten it off. Wind Ranger, although she hasn't been too much of a factor, can offer a lot of control with her Shackles shot, and Power Shot also in combination with the AA Ice Blast is actually quite formidable, and Gyro doesn't have his BKB yet. So overall, I think that was good decision making by late game to disengage there and kind of group up, wait for the next Brew ulti before they go in, maybe let their Brewmaster get level 11, and then try to take that tier 1 tower.
Yeah, definitely, and Sanjin Yasha picked up on the Gyrocopter now, so still kind of holding off on that BKB, but like I said, I think they can afford to do that this game because they have the Omni Knight and they have the heals and the sustain to keep that Gyrocopter alive, whereas last game they really didn't have that available to them, and the lack of a BKB really made Hora suffer, so he's going to get that Sanjin Yasha. Maybe we see a BKB next, maybe we see more damage items. I'm not sure how long they want to put that off, but for now they're going to push in on the mid tier 1, and it looks like they're going to take it without too much contest here. I mean, Spirit Breaker's nearby, he could charge if he wanted to, but I think it's just too dangerous to go into, as late game has kind of established themselves in front of that tower and they're ready to fight.
And this is a very pivotal moment of the game. Lesh just picked up his Bloodstone, so if he gets kills in the first kind of 5 minutes of having this Bloodstone, that's going to benefit him so much in terms of offering more mana regeneration and just more damage output in these team fights. But if the fight goes south and he dies right away, you know, he's down to 6 Bloodstone charges and he's not really getting the value out of the Bloodstone that he'd want to. Yeah. And top lane, we're going to see a bit of a fight breakout here as CptnCanuckDota runs into 2, but that Jug ulti is going to go out, but it's countered by the Guardian Angel and no physical damage doing anything, and Jug's actually going to go down. Well played by presumably here, and they're just going to fight Duke, blink away from Dory, and he's going to bottle up for now, but a blink forward by the Brewmaster is going to secure that kill on the Spirit Breaker. So beautifully played. I didn't even think about that interaction when I saw it in the draft, but the Guardian Angel is a perfect counter to the Omni Slash. I mean, that Omni Slash is never going to do anything if the Omni Knight's around, so damn well played there, and presumably secures them a couple kills, and late game are going to charge in on this top tower and hopefully get themselves a tier 1. Gyro might get caught out in the bottom lane as Wind Ranger lads Shackles. She's got her double damage, but she doesn't have a skill in her ult yet. Gyro just mounts up and says, I'm going to fight you, and puts on his Rocket Barrage, but is unable to do the damage in time as a ultimate comes in and blasts him down.
Yeah, no, what side of the ulti at 6 Wind Ranger are you on? I know a lot of people that don't like it, but Jesus, man, I think it's so damn useful.
Wind Ranger really benefits from the early stats and HP. Like, she really needs more HP if she's facing a heavy nuke lineup. In this case, like, they have call down and they have quap abilities, so I don't think the eggs is completely warranted here, but I think it would be the right call for Wind Ranger in this game nonetheless. We'll see what she picks up.
Did you see Kronosh fighting that centaur over here? Okay,
no.
The Ancient Apparition went to go deal with the stacking creep, and he went to go find the centaur, and he found the centaur, and his Midas was off cooldown, but I think he forgot he had a Midas, and so he started just fighting the centaur, and the centaur stomped him, and so he cold feeded it and laid down an ice vortex and tried to chase it and auto-attack it. And then he kind of stopped for a second, and then just Midas'd it. I think he just realized, he was like, oh wait, I have a Midas. it was hilarious.
Yeah. Maybe a teammate yelling at him, hey dude, you Midas, stop playing around.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he spent probably 200-300 mana just using spells to hit this thing, and then he had the Midas off cooldown the whole time.
But Gyro goes and grabs another centaur to start his stack, as they kind of group here behind where their tier 1 tower would be in the mid lane.
This Gyro is going to go straight for a butterfly. He's picked up his quarterstaff, and you know, unless he's planning on an orchid, it's definitely going to be a butterfly. And I actually really like this pickup. I mean, Jug is nowhere near the beginnings of an MKB, and he doesn't even want to have to build that item. And I mean, same with Spirit Breaker. I mean, he is too poor to get anywhere near it. Wind Ranger as well. I mean, Wind Ranger's going for mech. She's not even going to have damage, so
pings are coming out.
Get away with that evasion for a long time, but yeah, the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast into on the Roche. That's gonna mean a fight that Late Game cannot take. So they back out of the Roche pit. They're gonna heal up for now. They might be able to go back in there in a second though. If they find a pick off here, like this Leshrac as he runs in underneath a sentry with that invis. Really unfortunate for him. He thought he was safe, but ends up hitting a sentry. Duke teleporting away up on the high ground there, but no stuns available. So they're gonna go right back into Roche and finish it off.
Yeah. In regards to the butterfly, I think it's good in that presumably can just repel the Gyro and essentially give him BKB, but up in the top lane has decided to face off against the Juggernaut, and she just says, oh, you want to TP out? Hey, I've got an ability that does pure damage. See you later, Jug.
Wait a second. I thought her ulti didn't pierce spell immunity until you got Scepter.
Nope, it's pure damage.
Well, pure damage and piercing spell immunity are two different factors. Like, you can have pure damage that doesn't pierce spell immunity, and you can have managed community piercing that isn't pure. But yeah, okay.
No,
that's all right. Yeah. That's. I thought you needed the Scepter for it to pierce. Maybe that was the old version of it, and they changed that. I think that's what it was. I think that was at patch 682 or something like that. Oh well. Either way, good kill.
The Brew ult does come out to kind of help protect that Roshan, and Brew's actually got a Hand of Midas recipe here at the 24-minute mark. So interesting investment here by the stand-in low card. He's probably just going to meander on to the middle lane, blink in, get a few last hits, buy his Gloves of Haste, and finish up that Midas and start putting it to use. But AA had a much faster Midas than this Brew.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about this Midas. This is pretty it's pretty whack. I don't even know, man. Like, what is this even doing for him? He's already got his level 11. I mean, I guess it helps you get 16 faster, but does that really matter all that much?
He blinks in, gets a double clap off on the Wind Ranger and the Leshrac. Repels on him, but Lesh is just going to pop his Diabolic Edict, which does physical damage, and Brew backs off with the rest of his team. We have both teams kind of grouping up towards this middle lane, and Gyro is currently under the effect of Smoke of Deceit, along with the Queen of Pain. So maybe a little bit of bait coming in here from the side of Late Game, but nope, they decide to start brute forcing down the mid lane and maybe look for a pick off in terms of someone farming a stack. Wind Ranger smartly backs off. And Gyro with this Aegis is just decide, hey, I'm coming in. I'm going to start attacking your towers. You still there?
Yep. I just had to
okay,
shoot someone a message, but yeah. No, we're good here, and Brewmaster with these aggressive blinks, just kind of getting in the enemy's face, slapping them around a little bit, and making room for that Gyro to continue blasting away at this tower. And the Fortify goes out, but this tower is definitely facing a lot of pressure, and they might be able to get it with the next creep wave. They're not backing off. The Witch Doctor's keeping them sustained, and they should be just fine moving in for this tower.
Gyro's about 2,000 gold away from his butterfly here, so he's just probably going to run up. And backdoor protection is a little bit too much, so they're going to have to wait for the creeps before they clear it out. Meanwhile, Judge has decided to go for a little bit of split push and try to get some farm up. He really needs more items. At this point in the game, he'd probably like to look at getting like an MKB or butterfly of his own, but he's probably going to be forced here to go for the Sentient Yasha. Meanwhile, we have a zoning callbell, and Queen of Pain actually blinks in and lands the Sonic Wave onto the Winner to bring her down. Meanwhile, Spirit Breaker comes charging in and uses his Nether Strike onto the Quap, but she stays alive. Omni pops his ult, offering huge protection. Omni Slash comes out on the Gyrocopter, but he's got Aegis, so he'll be right back. Brew pops his ultimates as well, but everyone from the side of Radiance is kind of disengaged away from their mid tier 3 tower. Meanwhile, we have late game just putting on the pressure and taking down a free tier 3 tower right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much Perfectionvore can do. They spent a lot of they spent everything they could to get rid of those first 2 lives. The Brewmaster before his split and the Juggernaut's, or not the Juggernaut, sorry, the Gyro's Aegis. But now that those are gone, they charge in and they defend their racks, not losing anything, and they find themselves 3 kills on the backline. So, well played there. I think we got late game. Definitely had a little bit of overconfidence with, you know, with the position they had. But they had only gained that position because of the fact that A, they had the Brew Split, and B, they had the Aegis. And once they lost those, you know, Perfectionvore saw their opportunity, they jumped in, they found themselves a couple kills, and the ball is back in late game's court.
Yeah, definitely a good job by Alex Baby there. He got huge damage with his ultimate, and he landed even a last second stun on the Queen of Pain before she could blink out in the trees. So yeah. Great play by the Leshrac there.
I mean, if we look at the graphs here, it was almost a 7,500 gold advantage, and it is now dipped down below 5k. And the XP advantage was up near 7,500 as well, and has now dipped down below 2,500. So late game is definitely bringing this back, and you know, if they can get to a stage where their cores have the items they need, you know, Leshrac just picked up a BKB. That's huge. He has got 10 stacks on his Bloodstone, and as well, if we can see that, oh, we did get the Aghanim Scepter up on the Ancient Apparition as well. So these core items are really, really going to make a difference in these next couple minutes.
But on the flip side of that, you have a Wind Ranger who's gone Mechanism. Like, yes, this is a great team fighting item, but Wind Ranger's not exactly the hero you want to have building a mech. You want to see her kind of build into damage and put those phase boots to use.
Yeah, I mean, she is having a really hard time contributing to this game, and her early game kind of was a big factor in that. I mean, I think if she had built damage with the early game she had, it wasn't going to work out well for her, just because she was so far behind that she was never going to be able to out-damage anybody else. So she's gone for kind of a utility build, but she really needs to accentuate that with something. And I think the ideal item for accentuating the mechanism is the Force Staff. Helps you get in and out of fights, helps your carries get in and out of fights, and it can do a lot for her positioning. And I mean, like I said, I don't think she needs to build for damage at this point. A lot of the damage is coming from the Leshrac and the Juggernaut. And I mean, maybe Desolator is the item, because that's kind of utility damage. But anyways, we see a fight breaking out on the mid lane here. Coconut catches Duke as he tries to charge out, and the missile is flying in. He's going to get caught. Duke gets finished off there, and that's going to be the death of him.
Yeah, good aggressive blink by this Brewmaster. I don't know how many times we've seen that aggressive blink by Lokarin, but he's really kind of abusing the strength of his hero in terms of having that get out of jail free card with the primal splits. So here comes late game. They really want to claim this lane of racks. You know, they didn't get quite what they wanted to out of that last fight. So
yeah, and Jug is split pushing up on top, and it doesn't look like he intends on coming back. So maybe they're just going to give up these racks in exchange for a trade, but actually, we'll probably see, yeah, Jug's going to TP back when Spirit Breaker gets up, I think. Or he's gonna keep
Yeah,
farming.
but this Rex will be down by the time he's back. Like, they don't have Glyph.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a free melee Rex.
Yeah, Jug's TPing now, and there we go. There goes the call down to hold it back. And I think, I don't know, I think there was an ideal timing in that scenario that we didn't see come to fruition. I think right as the Spirit Breaker respawned, I think if the Juggernaut had like TP'd right into the middle of the fight as that Spirit Breaker was coming in, they might have been able to make a fight as late game were backing out. But they kind of just waited a few seconds too long after the racks went out, and late game were very diligent about making sure that they
charge on the Brewmaster with the A here on the side.
Oh no, that's dangerous.
But he pops the ult and just says, "Hey, you wanna do cheeky plays? Well, I can do cheeky plays too." And the Storm Panda is actually going to catch AA and vacuum him up. So AA doesn't have a TP right now, and they are to bring down the Spirit Breaker in the meantime with the Quap abilities.
That was a really good split, sending the Earth and Fire Spirits down and sending the Wind Spirit over. I was actually super confused with that fight, just because of the positioning of the Ancient Apparition being so close to the Dire's tier 2. I actually thought the Ancient Apparition was like on the Dire side, and so I was like, uh-oh, this Spirit Breaker is going to be in trouble. And then I realized that it was the Perfectionvore's Ancient Apparition, and everything got messed up in my head. But yeah, the two of them end up going down, and late game get themselves a couple easy kills.
For sure. And now I think we're going to see late game probably just aim to take the next Roshan. We do have Rosh spawned up already. I'm not sure if they have any. Yeah, they have one smoke on the Queen of Pain, but vision on the side of Perfectionvore is kind of a little bit lacking around the Roshan, so they should be able to just walk in, take a free Rosh, and then look at taking their next objective.
Yeah. So, I mean, just as you said, we see him go right into the Roshan. The Butterfly is now completed on the Gyrocopter, so he's got that evasion and that insane damage to speak of. And, yeah, this Roshan is going to go down fairly quick. I'm not sure if Perfectionvore know this is going on. Even if they do, I don't think they can do much about it. They're going to send an Ice Blast over there, but it actually sails over the pit, so the worst it's going to do is apply the debuff, and that will be it. I think the Rosh is going to go down much too long before they can get over there to contest.
Alexis Baby is kind of in a very aggressive posture here.
Yeah,
but,
preempted
Rosh...
Guardian Angel, and Rosh goes down. They really don't want to fight right now.
Brew's going to jump onto Juggernaut, and Juggernaut just pops spin and splits away, so nothing's going to come of that little engagement down the bottom lane, but late game positions themselves to take the tier 2 bottom tower of Perfectionvore, and I think they're going to get it for free, and Perfectionvore is just going to hold their abilities and kind of plan an uphill defense here.
Yeah, and tower's going to go down, that'll be it, and I think they're going to continue to push for the bottom lane. They have every right to. They've got the Aegis up. This Gyrocopter is fat as all hell and is not going to be slowing down, so he makes his way up onto the high ground. Going to start spamming out attacks with that flat cannon and working at bringing down these buildings. It's already below half. Shackle goes out, doesn't latch on anything, and Brewmaster still has his Primal Split if he wants it. He's kind of dealing with the fact that he's getting frozen, but he's going to be able to blink in just a second. There he goes. Call down goes out. There's the Sonic Wave and the Primal Split, but they're just going to use the Brewlings to distract while they finish off the racks, and this is definitely the way to play this. This is the right call. They're just letting the Brewmaster do his thing while they bring down buildings, and I mean, they can just back out safely if they want, but they're going to continue fighting as the Spirit Breaker goes for a charge in, really aggressive, but ends up in a lot of trouble and ends up taking a fall. But yeah, that'll be it. We got 5 heroes retreating from We Got Late Game to get themselves a kill and a set of racks. They're going to defend top, and then I think we're probably going to see this last set of racks facing some pressure.
Yeah, excellent job by the Gyro there to show patience and not just dive in and be like, oh, I'm so farmed, I'm just going to take you all on, I have Aegis. He showed great restraint, just stayed back, took out the racks, and then when Lesh came in, he just put damage on him. Lesh was forced to back and wasn't able to get past the Gyro and into those supports of late game, which is really what the Lesh is kind of aiming to do, you know, use that ult, use that output of damage to take out the supports and kind of make it an uneven fight with those abilities.
Yeah, and we're gonna see the Omni Knight pick himself up an Aghanim Scepter now, which is huge for Guardian Angel, especially if the fights are split up. Like, it's really, really good when you have a lot of Blink initiators, which late game do. They have the Brewmaster and they have the Queen of Pain, and now they can just dive as far as they want, and the Guardian Angel is still going to keep them safe. If we do a quick item recap here, we've got Drums up on the Spirit Breaker. We've now got a Veil of Discord on the Ancient Apparition, which is pretty big. The Juggernaut is now built a Demon Edge. Looks like he wants to get an MKB, but he's a little ways away from that. Shrek now looking at... I think this will probably be a... what do you call it? The Octarine Core. He could go for the eggs as well, but I think Octarine's a little more likely. Wind Ranger now going for an ultimate orb of her own. I'm curious what that's going to be moved into. Perhaps a Lincoln Sphere? I could see a Lincoln Sphere being really good on her.
Yeah, I think it'll be too late before that's going to come in, though. Like, Save just picked up an Aghanims of his own on the Witch Doctor, so we have essentially 3 Aghanims on the side of late game that are going to offer huge teamfight potential. And yeah, I definitely see that there's just on the side of Perfectionvore, they just don't quite have the items they need. Like, Jug is so close to having, well, not so close, but he's close to having an MKB. Leshrac is close to the Octarine. Spirit Breaker doesn't have too much. You know, maybe he'd like to have a BKB by now, or what's it called that does damage back?
Blade Mail?
Yes, the Blade Mail.
Yeah.
I fought that item thousands of times and I can't remember the same music. But Gyro's getting close to having an MKB of his own. And Wind Ranger just doesn't have damage items as well, so who's going to be doing the damage on the side of Perfectionvore, right? You have to have that Lesh kind of charge in there, but the right clicks from the Gyro